Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we are getting right back to our Psychology Today article within the Snake Oil Salesman series. Before we get started, folks, disclaimer. All of the source material that we use for the Snake Oil Salesman series, you're going to find linked up right there in the description box for you. Should you like to check it out for yourself or do your own deep dive, you should be able to go ahead and do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused for some of the videos like on the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. So if you have a child that is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision very much advised, alright? Sorry about that, folks. It's been a minute. Alright, so where we left off, some of this we may be recovering. I apologize for that in advance. In my defense, I have slept since then. And I have the short-term memory of a goldfish. So, next question on here. Many online health and fitness influencers push nonsense concepts and self-worthless supplements. How can people spot the bad ones? Usually, I try to not give long-winded answers, but end up info dumping anyways. But my rule of thumb when I'm looking at supplements is generally if it's essentially promising the moon and back. Now these days they do try to be clever. They try to keep it within context of what they say this thing is going to do for you. It's no longer sitting there telling you this thing is going to cure your heart disease and give you purtier hair all at the same time. But what they do, let's use those green tea tablet supplements for example. Although I don't understand why I would feel the need to take tablets when I can just drink green tea. As a person who enjoys green tea, but not the point. But if it essentially, it's going to fix your hair. It's going to get rid of your wrinkles. It's going to make your skin baby soft. It's going to make your boobs bigger. Something like that, right? If it's essentially saying all of that, even if it's within context of this is a beauty product, if it's giving you a list, it's a parade of red flags. Because it's sales tactics. How do I know that? Because, what did I go to college for, kids? I went for graphic design. Part of a graphic designer's job does include designing the packaging of over-the-counter medicines and supplements and what have you. We literally do studies on what colors to use. I know because I did a whole paper on it right before I graduated, where we went into color psychology and the different ways that you can use even the packaging of the product itself as a way of selling it, right? When it pops up like that, it's probably too good to be true. It's putting it out there. That's my rule of thumb. I pick something up. If it's like giving me at least a list that's more than 5 to 6 different things named, most people would go before that, but that's kind of my limit. Then I know that you're trying to sell me too hard. It has all the desperation of not just a used car salesman, but a very bad at their job. If I don't get this sell, I'm going to lose my job kind of desperation. Alright? Okay, so let's read what this individual has to say. We live in a post-truth era, a time when emotions and personal beliefs are more influential than objective facts. Unfortunately, send help, because us sane folks in the middle, we need rescued. Everybody's talking about safe space. Well, there is no safe spaces, but if there were, could it be a safe space for people who are not stupid? Sorry. Let me continue. Nowhere is this truer than on social media. If you intend to engage with health and wellness content online, look closely at the influencer's qualifications. Are they qualified to give this advice? More often than not, the answer is no. That would be like taking health advice from Jenny McCarthy, and please, for the love of God and all that's holy, don't do that. That is a special level rabbit hole that nobody wants to get dragged into. Trust me. I've gone down there so that you don't have to. Consider the motives behind content and disregard advice in sponsored posts. Avoid quick fixes. Judge advice on merit and check whether it conforms to scientific or expert consensus, and filter out fitspiration content that's all style over substance. I tend to stick to the classics. I like my B vitamin cocktails, those particular supplements that cover all your different B vitamins. I also take D vitamins, of course, in the wintertime, because otherwise it's just not good. I generally take that sort of thing. I fizzed out on the ginkgo biloba because after objectively looking at it, it wasn't really providing any real difference the way that I used to swear by it. But yeah, there's no quick fixes. And if the advertisement is on social media, you can't even say whether it is some big company trying to manipulate you or whether it is a con man trying to manipulate you, because these days they are all sounding exactly the same. But anyways, let's go again and continue here. The next question is, what would be a better regulation system that would give people a fair chance of buying safe, useful, and reliable supplements? Now, we've gone over how it's like the wild, wild west. And again, I'm going to lean very hard on two things. Always keep open communication lines with your doctor, or if you're like me, always keep open lines for everybody that is on your team and involved with your overall treatment. If you're on supplements, tell them, and tell them why. Because, I'll be honest, my folks aren't shy. They have come out and told me when something I was taking was absolute garbage and a waste of money. Right? Now, generally, they'll recommend things like white willow bark is fine, drinking green tea by itself because they know I have an addiction and a problem is fine. So that's number one. Always keep that open line of communication going. And tell them the supplements you're on and tell them why you're on them. Because A, they can tell you if it's going to work or not. B, if there is an actual alternative that would actually help, they'll be able to tell you. It saves quite a bit of money. Believe me, I know. I used to take enough supplements to, down a horse. I got a little too far into the food as medicine thing. There is a fine line. And thankfully, I was able to get pulled back by my mom, who has worked in healthcare, and told me quit being an idiot. My mom doesn't pull punches. Alright, now we're moving on to the next part here. This one says, do most people who exercise or just want to be healthy need to take supplements? No, folks. I've told you guys myself that since I got off the creatine and got off like the soy shakes and paid more attention about the protein that I'm putting in regards to my daily meals and what I'm going to need to fuel cardio, what works best for people who like to use their climbing machines religiously. And I've gotten far more gains by doing that than I did when I was hundreds of dollars every month on the creatine and the soy shakes and everything else. Whereas using what I got turned out to actually be what I really needed in the first place. And if you think about it, how much do you think those companies bring in every year? Particularly those who do those soy protein shakes, about how much millions of dollars do you think those bring in a year, those companies? Think about it. Maybe we should start calling it Big Soy. The exception is when a doctor diagnoses a nutrient deficiency and prescribes oral or injectable supplements. I do remember a particular time because when I was a kid, I was chronically underweight all the goddamn always. To the point where there were teachers that would set my folks aside. We think she may have an eating disorder. She just keeps getting thinner. We don't know what's going on. I did not have an eating disorder. It was the medicine I was taking at the time. So what they did was the doctors had me start drinking those Equate shakes to get those additional nutrients in that were not being absorbed at the time through the food and everything I was eating. So that's the sort of thing they're talking about. Most of the time, a balanced diet should suffice. Elite athletes push, pull, and tear at their bodies and may see more benefits, but the list of effective supplements is very small. Accurate, by the way. Supplements represent the quintessential quick fix, the ultimate perceived shortcut to health and fitness, hence why they are a reliable source of income. There are about 30,000 different supplements on sale in the U.S. alone. And if you're wondering if your powdered shakes are supplements, yes, they are. As is creatine. As is the other expensive products that you will find in health food stores and sometimes in pharmacies. And let me continue here. There are around 30,000. Yep, we covered that. So we're going to actually go ahead and close out for this one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you all would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments, and make sure to double check that you are still set up to receive notifications. We're going to be continuing next weekend with another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole and another episode on the Snake Oil Salesman series as we continue throughout the week to post videos on the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center. We do not want you all missing anything. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now.